Picture this. MAGA hats waving, rally chants roaring, and promises of a golden America echoing. Trump voters bet big on a comeback, but now they're staring at empty fields, shuttered shops, and skyrocketing bills. These clips, raw with women's voices, spill the frustration, pointing at the system while dodging their own role. The kicker? Their votes lit this fuse. Let's unpack the fallout, nudge MAGA's missteps, and toss out real fixes to rise above the rubble.
Did through the Inflation Reduction Act, which Biden signed into law. And now the executive orders from Trump are rolling back all of that funding for us. So now we can no longer afford our farm. And when all that happened, it was like a lightning bolt hit my brain. And I realized that I shouldn't just be voting for myself, that Trump's policies and EOs are hurting millions of people. But it took it affecting me personally to understand what I had done was wrong. And I think it's really important for anyone to come out who voted for him and is now negatively impacted by the executive orders. And maybe you have friends or family, especially in minority communities, who are being very heavily impacted by what's going on right now. So, yeah, I think it's time for us to stop being so selfish, maybe, and to vote for what's best for the country instead of just in our tiny little bubble, because we're all in the same boat now, and we're all...
You hit the nail on the head. Voting just for yourself backfired hard. MAGA folks thought Trump's cuts would bring back the glory days, but now farms like yours are collapsing under slashed funding. Try diversifying with local veggie markets or joining ag co-ops to stabilize income. I totally agree. It's time to vote for the whole country's good. Dig into candidates' ag policies before marking that ballot to protect rural livelihoods.
I never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
The past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
Jim, losing $150K a year is brutal. Sorry you're going through that. MAGA's streamlined spending cheerleading gutted your revenue stream, and now their voters are stunned. Set up an online shop on platforms like Etsy or hit local farmers markets to sell honey direct. I back you 100%. Get loud about this and vote for reps who'll restore ag programs in the midterms.
Whoop-de-doo! Another MAGA FAFO. This is getting really fucking old at this point, but I will continue to post these every single day because I do believe that there is a benefit in highlighting Trump supporters themselves regretting their vote so that other Trump supporters might see and be like, oh shit, yeah. We can be affected by the man we voted for. The frustrating part about all of this is they never seem to give a shit until it affects them. There's zero empathy in that heart until it affects them. And then only until it affects them do they regret their vote. But I think it's important. I think it's important it gets highlighted. I'm not here to shame you. I'll take up arms with you. I'll fight this administration with you. And I'll encourage you to vote in the midterms for someone who will actually do better for this country.
Mercedes, you're so right. Empathy only kicks in when MAGA feels the pinch themselves. They rallied for Trump. Now cry over his cuts. Join local ag boards to push for funding. Connect with other farmers. I agree. Keep shining a light on these regrets. Urge voters to research candidates' records on rural support to avoid this mess again.
But I am going to highlight it until then because I think it's valuable information. Anyways, my name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you. Goodbye.
Farmers laying awake, crying at night because they're cash strapped. Look at this. Farmers and cattle ranchers are short 150,000 workers to pick crops. Fruit is rotting on the ground. No soybean deals with China, which is 60% of what they normally sell every year. Zero deals. Farm equipment. John Deere is losing millions of dollars due to tariffs. And farmers, if they have the money, are buying used equipment. Farmers who every single time vote for this administration And every single time, this is an exact replica, but times 10 from his first term. Farmers crying at night, and many of them, I bet you, would say they'd vote for him again.
Rotting fruit and empty wallets, heartbreaking stuff. MAGA voted for these tariffs. Now they're shocked as markets dry up. Pivot to direct-to-consumer sales or niche crops like organic berries. I support your pain. Network with local buyers and vote for trade-friendly policies to keep your farm afloat.
Getting exactly what you voted for. And guess what? Blackstone and JD Vance are ready to come in and swoop up your bankrupt farms. MAGA, farmers, I have zero sympathy for you. Zero.
Another group that's likely regretting their almost unanimous support for Trump is farmers. So check this out.
Well, it'll certainly be an economic hit to Kansas farmers in a time when they're already struggling. Commodity prices are at an all-time low, and farmers are struggling. Their input costs are high, meaning their fertilizer, chemical, seed. Those input costs are at all-time highs. But the market price for the commodities that they're growing are at all-time lows. So this is just one more hit in a time where farmers don't need any more uncertainty added to an already difficult time.
Kansas, you backed Trump. Now your funding's gone. Tough wake-up call. MAGA ignored how blue states prop up red ones with subsidies. Lease land to local growers or cut costs with shared equipment. I agree. Margins are razor thin. Vote for ag-focused reps who'll fight for rural support next time.
So that video was an interview. It was regarding funding that Trump cut for something called the Food for Peace program. So evidently, we subsidize Kansas farmers who provide food to this program. And now that appears to be on the chopping block. Remind me again of how Kansas voted how Kansas voted in the election. Yeah, pretty sure they went for Trump.
U.S. farmers are regretting their vote for Donald Trump after their business suffers. Womp womp. Since China implemented their tariffs, farmers are suffering because soybean farmers, especially in the Midwest, are not being able to export as much as they're used to. I wonder why. Yet they voted for him anyway. They voted for him about 2 or 3 times, actually. I don't know how you thought voting for him would help you in your business when creating tariffs will probably hurt you, and he's said he's going to do this multiple times, but another example of Americans thinking that other parts of the world need them the most. Brazil is the #1 soybean import for China. They don't need the U.S. Brazil is steadily increasing the production year after year after year, while the U.S. has remained stagnant. And y'all thought Donald Trump getting in office will help y'all? You put somebody in office who directly hinders your business. I need these people to take a survey so I can understand why they make the decisions that they do. But again, womp womp. You put somebody in office because of reasons, and now you're paying the price because of those same reasons. You just thought they wouldn't affect you.
Soybean losses sting. Brazil's eating your market share. MAGA thought tariffs wouldn't hit home, but here we are. Shift to domestic buyers or try hemp for new revenue. I back your frustration. Study trade policies closely before voting to avoid this trap again.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Apparently our entire state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are going to go bankrupt now. We are going to go bankrupt. And we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported, and he was coming after immigrants, yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it seems a bit foolish now when you think about it like that we voted for something that is now putting us directly out of business.
I need your help to save my farm and many other farms. So the reason that they're not able to hold up the contract is our EQIP program, which is cost sharing on fences, waters, a well, and some seedings, was funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. Because of the executive orders, there's a pause or a freeze on the funding through the Inflation Reduction Act, and they're not able to pay out on the stuff that we completed or anything going forward.
The sheer audacity of this man to sit here and beg us to help him save his farm when he voted for Donald Trump, and a direct consequence of voting for Donald Trump has him losing his whole fucking farm because contracts he had were funded by the Inflation Reduction Act, and now because of executive orders from Donald Trump, it's now gone.
Rancher, voting for deportations then going bankrupt is a gut punch. MAGA's tough on immigration stance cost you your workforce. Post jobs on local boards like Indeed. Lease equipment to cut costs. I agree, your vote hit home hard. Push for practical immigration reform in the midterms to stabilize labor.
And I'm just like, wait. So I went to his account, and for one, I'm going to point out this video he posted. He said, Kamala Harris, please don't take my cows. How ironic, how iconic. But to further this, he made this follow-up video where he was basically excusing Donald Trump and excusing like his vote for Donald Trump. So I don't feel bad for you. None of the viewers who are watching this video, man, none of us feel bad for you. If you know that Donald Trump is the reason why you're losing your farm and you're still excusing his behavior, FAFO, I'll buy it. I'll buy your goddamn farm. We'll all pitch in money to buy that goddamn farm because I'm sorry, we'll take it for ourselves. You don't deserve it. I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna be serious with you. If you cannot see that your vote is like the cause of your, I mean, you do. That's the problem, is he sees that his vote is his issue. And he still is excusing Donald Trump. So FAFO, you deserve to lose the farm. Anyways, my name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you. Goodbye.
Excusing Trump while your farm tanks? That's wild. MAGA's denial is shocking even their own base. Crowdfund through local ag groups. Sell off non-essential assets. I support Mercedes. Own your vote's consequences and back stability-focused candidates next time.
Great-great-grandfather helped open this university. I am pissed, and I'm pissed at you because I have emailed you because it's easier for me than to try to talk on the phone without profanity. I would appreciate you taking your father's U.S. Constitution book, read it, study it, make your own lines underneath it, and get Trump out of office. The man is a dictator. He knows nothing about what he talks about. I listened to him for about a half hour today, and I got sick at all the lies he brought up. Now, I'm about ready to lose my farm. Do you know why? I'm sure you don't know why.
Lose your what, sir?
Farm.
Farm?
Yeah.
Why is that, sir?
Because Missouri does not have wills. They have trust. They have legal zigzags. And a trust, most people don't know anything about. So I'm dealing with a state that's a crooked state, doesn't care about what farmers happen. The only reason why we have farmers today is because the federal government funds them. How much money of our tax money goes to farmers? Farmers work very hard, but they're funded by the federal government, not by selling groceries. That's what Foster Farms and all of those characters, that's where they get their money.
You're dead right. Big business profits while farmers drown. MAGA's corporate tax breaks hurt their own voters. Join co-ops to cut costs. Lobby for fair tax reform. I agree, politicians are out of touch. Vote for reps who actually understand working class struggles.
The price of steaks, $20 a pound, because of big business. You want to straighten out the budget? Start taxing corporations and the wealthy, like we've been telling you. Do you think we're idiots? Do you think we don't pay taxes? Do you think that we don't have to make budgets? You talk about half-truths when I listen to you. You know nothing about taking care of children because you've always had a really good-paying job. You know nothing about what a working-class citizen does. Come down here. come down here and start trying to pay your medical insurance. Come down here and walk into Costco to try to feed your family, to feed your kid that's moved out, to feed your great-grandchildren. I had a very good job in California, and I'm able to feed my family, and it goes all the way to great-grandchildren. You're not helping me. Believe me, you're not helping me.
Elites clueless about grocery runs nailed it. MAGA's cuts shocked their base, leaving wallets empty. Bulk buy at warehouses like Costco. Negotiate medical bills directly. I back you. Vote for reps who grasp real budgets and fight for fair taxes.
You need to take your head out of Trump's ass and start doing your representation of us.
A lot of people effed around, and now they're finding out. And no group of people is going to find out more quickly than farmers, because they're really going to get screwed. With the cutting of this USAID program, they're really going to get hit hard, because what was that program, or is that program, that is not being operated as it's supposed to be because of Donald Trump giving complete control of the federal government to the billionaire who bought him, Elon Musk. Anyways, what was the purpose of that? The purpose was to provide humanitarian relief around the world. And a big part of that was providing food to desperate people around the world. And what we did through that program is purchase a lot of agricultural products produced by American farmers and then distribute those products.
Yeah, we voted for Trump because he promised while he was campaigning like 1,000,000 times that when he got into office, he was going to bring down prices, bring down grocery prices. The inflation has been high ever since COVID, and he promised he would bring that down. But it's obvious to me now that that was not true.
Cutting food for peace is a low blow. Hurts farmers bad. MAGA's price-lowering promises fizzled out. Sell eggs at local markets. Diversify with small livestock. I agree, broken promises burn. Check candidates' ag plans before voting next time.
Egg prices have skyrocketed. The bird flu is killing all the birds, and he doesn't seem to be doing anything about that. He's stopping disease communications from the disease centers in America, pulled us out of the WHO. Like, how does that help anything? And yeah, all he's been doing is taking away rights and freedoms, or trying to. He's not doing anything about the economy. So yeah, we totally regret our vote at this point. We've had a really tough time here in North Carolina. Half of my house got washed away in Hurricane Helene, and I applied for FEMA assistance and we got approved. But now Trump is canceling FEMA and emergency assistance to people. He's also canceled Medicaid for my children. I know they said they put a halt on his freezing of the funds, but the Medicaid portal is still not working, so we can't access anything for our children's health insurance.
MAGA, yeah, you. Here it comes. Your FAFO moment is underway.
Losing half your house and FEMA aid? Devastating. MAGA's tariff and cut-happy policies shocked their voters. Seek local disaster grants. Sell honey direct to shops. I support you. Vote for robust disaster relief funding to protect your family.
Starting to say, I never thought that voting for Trump 3 times would result in me losing tens of thousands of dollars. A beekeeper out of North Carolina says, yeah, I proudly voted for Trump all 3 times. I flew flags for him and put signs for him in the yard. But now I'm out tens of thousands of dollars due to lost federal funding and tariffs, so I cannot export my products, my honey and my wax, to other countries like I could before, and nobody's buying it in the United States. Hay producers in Idaho and Utah that export alfalfa hay to China are now seeing 135% tariffs put on their product, and all of a sudden, they don't have anywhere to ship it. They held it all winter in hopes of sending it off to China in the spring, and now China's not willing to buy. Soybean producers are once again being hit harder than they were in the first Trump administration, and China, for its part, has diversified where it pulls these products from, with Brazil becoming the #1 soybean exporter and other countries picking up the slack for honey, for beeswax, and for hay around the world. Now, China's doing a great...
I don't know if it's just me or what, but I was so excited for Trump to get back into office. For what? For what? I mean, prices are still bad. They're rising. Hell, everybody's struggling. I mean, wasn't you supposed to help us? Wasn't you supposed to... But he's not worried about us because, I mean, he's balling. He's rich. He ain't worried about it.
These prices are way too expensive. Everything is going up every single day. Yeah, tariffs. Yeah, they're supposed to make the country great and bring all this money in, but who pays the tariff costs, guys? American citizens pay the tariff costs. It's not these other countries. It's not the companies. They're just passing the cost and the burden down onto the consumer.
Perfectly good tomatoes are being plowed over instead of picked. It's a sad scene happening in South Florida.
You can't even afford to pick them right now between the cost of the labor and the inputs that go in. It's more cost effective for the farmers to just plow them right now.
Tariffs killing your honey biz is rough. Sorry for that loss. MAGA's hype blinded them to trade realities. Pivot to local markets. Try beeswax candles for extra cash. I agree. Rising prices suck. Study trade policies before casting that next vote.
The farming industry is absolutely falling apart, guys, and it's very crazy to see that she said it's cheaper to destroy the tomatoes than to pick them. Of course, when we talk about labor costs now that they decided to get rid of all the migrant workers, they're in Florida. Florida made some, decisions during the election. Not saying that it's completely on that, but as a whole, we know that the Trump policies are really affecting a lot of farmers.
Look at this. Small businesses are in survival mode. 35 million small businesses are struggling to survive right now. If you did not know, small business is actually 98% of business in the United States. No, it's not corporation. And as you know, corporations are taking billion-dollar losses right now because of tariffs. So small business owners, they don't have that capital. They don't have that funding. Small business owners are typically normal people. They are struggling right now. Look at this. They are in survival mode. If you did not know, bankruptcies are already surging. Bankruptcies are surging for small business owners, farmers, and personal bankruptcy is already soaring. Small business is going to be devastated, and that means it will be devastating for the economy. Drop your comments and follow for more.
Plowing perfectly good tomatoes is gut-wrenching. Labor shortages hurt. MAGA's migrant crackdowns backfired on their own. Hire locally via job boards. Join co-ops to share input costs. I support your struggle. Vote for small biz aid, not corporate handouts, next election.
So we're constantly hearing from Republican voters and Republican senators and Republican representatives and from the entire MAGA movement that they are tired of handouts and they are tired of supporting poor people and they're tired of people getting something for nothing, so they say. Well, all right. Well, maybe it's fucking time that all you red states put your money where your mouth is and stop accepting federal funding. Because you mock states like California, New York, Illinois, the big blue states, but yet those states are subsidizing your states. These blue states put way more money in than they receive in federal funding. Yet the red states put less money in and they take, because the states like California that are paying for your SNAP benefits, that are paying for your roads, that help pay for your emergency services and everything else that goes along with it. So maybe if you guys are so big on people pulling themselves up by their fucking bootstraps, maybe it's time the red states do the same. You send all of the federal funds back and you survive on your own. You go get a better job. Maybe y'all should just work a little harder. Because this is what MAGA doesn't understand. They make all these claims, and they think that they are working so hard and their states are doing so much better, when in reality, that is not the case. They want to talk about people getting handouts, but their red states are subsidized by the blue states. It is time now for you to put your money where your mouth is. Send back every damn penny that you get in federal funding and see how far you make it on your own without the blue states. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and I'll see you all in the next video.
You called it red states bootstrap talk ignores blue state subsidies. MAGA's hypocrisy is showing. Build local economies with co-ops. Push for fair federal funding. I agree. Own your stance. Vote for policies that balance the budget without gutting support.
These rural towns, mostly in red states, are really about to be in the find out. First, let me tell you what the Trump administration did with this big, beautiful bill that they think is pretty slick. You see, most of these things with Medicaid cuts aren't going to go into effect until 3.5 years down the line. When is that? When Donald Trump is no longer president. You see, he doesn't want to be able to take credit. He doesn't want anyone to blame him for hospitals closing and people losing their Medicaid. So he delayed everything until he's out of office. And so what he gets to do with this is he gets to say that, oh, all of the things that are happening to these hospitals and with Medicaid and everything, that's all Joe Biden's fault, because my stuff doesn't kick in for 3 years. Then when it were to kick in, if it is to kick in, it's going to get worse. So for the most part, the next president, probably a Democrat, is going to have to come in and overturn all the things that he did just so people don't lose their Medicaid and a lot of these hospitals don't close up. But unfortunately, many of these hospitals are anticipating what's to come, and they're already planning that they're going to have to close up in the next 3 to 7 years. But you have J.D. Vance out there, of course, blaming Joe Biden for everything that's going on right now during the Trump administration, and out here saying that they put in provisions and they put in fail-safes so that rural hospitals won't have to close. Meanwhile, rural hospitals are planning on closing. So let's listen to J.D. Vance with this bullshit talking about they're saving rural hospitals when we know that's not the truth. First of all, let me point out, did you notice when he was saying all the bullshit, all the stuff none of these people have ever heard of, he got no applause at all. So then he decided to go to the Trump card. He went to the card, the ace of spades, which is the racism. He's like, nobody's cheering when I'm talking about healthcare and Medicaid and rural hospitals. You know what? Illegal aliens need to get the hell out of here. We want them out of here. We're getting the Mexican people out of here. And then all of a sudden the racists are like, yeah, because they know that. They understand the racism. That's the part they love the most about Donald Trump. You see, policy means nothing to them. They don't care that their gas prices and grocery prices are still going up. They don't care about that. They care that, one, they think they're owning the libs, and two, the racism. They like the fact that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are as racist as they are. And let me point something else out. He's talking about all the problems during the Biden administration. You know what? If you Google rural hospital closures during Biden's administration, you don't find a bunch of articles about that. But during the Trump administration, you find a bunch of articles about rural hospitals that are anticipating having to close, and it is because of the cuts to Medicaid in the big, beautiful bill. That is the only reason. That's the only reason they cite when they talk about their rural hospitals closing. Don't believe me? Here's a video of a news station talking about a hospital closing in their area because of all the cuts to Medicaid. The fact that this administration is trying to claim that this isn't happening when we could easily access the information that proves it's happening right now is fucking crazy. But this is how dumb they know the MAGAs are. And if that's not enough for you, here's another article about 9 rural hospitals in Illinois that are also at risk of being closed, along with a video that talks about how the big, beautiful bill is cutting millions of people off of their Medicaid.
Good afternoon. I was on here a couple of days ago to tell you an FAFO story, a personal one, about my friend who sold her house, went to Utah to build the house, and the building materials were going up and down. They were skyrocketing because of the tariffs, and so she and her husband went to secure another loan, and come to find out the husband had invested everything in Trump cryptocurrency, and she is now working at Home Depot watering flowers. I wanted to send a ha-ha emoji because she had been just so nasty. But some of you said send it. Some of you were very creative. You said you should actually send flowers to her with an I'm sorry note. Many of you said take the high road, and you know she's miserable right now. I had to have her know that I knew, because she had been so horrible about everything, and I needed her to know that we understand what she's going through now. I wasn't nasty at all in my email. I said something along the lines of, you know, I've heard you've had some trouble. I said, you know, we tried to tell you, you know, how could a teacher vote with MAGA, become MAGA? And, you know, it goes against everything that, you know, we do. And, you know, this happened to you because of that. And I suggested, you know, come back to Nevada where you know people and you can teach and maybe start, you know, working on this and figuring things out, thinking that she had learned something from it. And here is the email that I got back. Well, I guess it's nice to hear from you, but your advice isn't needed. Simon's her husband. Simon is getting the cryptocurrency back. He filed a complaint along with others with the SEC, and Trump is working with them to get it straightened out. What? This woman, this proves that this is a cult. This woman is an intelligent woman. I worked with her for several years. And she really believes that Trump is going to do something for her and these other unfortunate souls who drank the Kool-Aid. MAGA is a cult. This FAFO story proves it. And he's going to help them get it back.
Sneaky Medicaid delays and racist distractions. Low moves. MAGA's cult-like loyalty blinds them to real losses. Save in credit unions. Study crypto basics before investing. I agree, it's a trap. Vote for healthcare protections and ditch the excuses.